Arriving at the bottom and the finish line, you're finishing on the left-hand side with the worker. You completed a double stitch on both sides, both edges. So that means these two pairs are involved around a pin in a double stitch, and the two pairs on the right are involved in a double stitch. But the last petal was a half stitch, which doesn't give you a straight line and is very unstable. So we have to do something so we can end this. And if I just pick up two and try to tie it, as you can see, it pulls the work up inside, which we don't want to have happen. So what I am suggesting you do is you move the four pairs to the right out of the way. They're already secure and they're fine. Take the next two pairs on the right and put a pin between those two pairs. Now if I pull on that pair and tie it, it could still go up inside. So watch carefully. I'm taking the pair on the right, I'm taking the left thread, I'm going around that pin and putting it back down where I picked it up. Then the pair that's on the left, I pick up the pair that's on the right, the inside pair, take it around the pin and put it back down. So now both pairs are secured on that pin. I move them out of the way. I pick up another pin. I move the next two pairs into place. There's about where they belong. So there I put a pin between those two pairs. So they're right in a straight line. Doesn't look very straight, but it is. I have two pairs here. I'm going to pick up the pair on the right. The inside thread goes around that pin and it's back down in position. I pick up the two pairs, the two threads on the right, on the left, pick up the inside pair, it goes around the pin and is placed in the same position. Those two are moved out of the way. I pick up the next two pairs. So now I only have two groups left. One here and one here. Pick up another pin, place it so it's also between the two pairs. And I've sort of divided the line up. The same thing, the pair on the right. I pick up the bobbin on the left, on the inside, it goes around the pin. The pair on the left, pick up the bobbin on the inside. It goes around the pin from left to right and back down. Move it out of the way. I have one set of bobbins left. Two pairs. I put another pin between those two pairs. I've divided that line up, so it now has four more pins on that line. I have two pairs here. Pick up the pair on the right. The bobbin on the left goes around the pin from right to left. I pick up the pair on the left. The bobbin on the inside goes around the pin from left to right and back down. So now all I have to do is tie knots. And in order to tie knots, we're going to do, it's an Idria finish, a Cantu finish. It's a version of that type of finish. Because the worker pair was on the left-hand side, we're going to start with the worker pair. So lengthen your threads a little bit. Pick up the pair that's on the left. You're going to be going left over right. So the left bobbin goes over the right thread and pick up the pair of bobbins on the left. We're going to be working from left to right. So the left bobbin goes over the right and under and through. You need to tie a knot, but don't try tightening it until you're all the way down at the bottom and tighten it. Put down the left bobbin, change hands, pick up the next right bobbin. The left bobbin goes over the right thread, underneath it, and tighten it all the way down. Put down the left bobbin. Change hands. The right bobbin goes into the left hand. Pick up the next bobbin on the right. The left bobbin goes over the right and under the right and through. Pull it down close. Put down the left. Change hands. The right bobbin goes into the left hand. Pick up the next bobbin, put it in the right hand. The left bobbin goes over the right, under the right, and through. Pull it down to the bottom, tighten it, put down the left bobbin and move it out of the way. Change hands. Pick up the right bobbin. I think you have the idea. It's left over right, put down the left. Left over right and through. Put down the left. Go all the way to the other side. Left over right, through. Put down the bottom. Tighten it and put down the left. I'll see you at the other side. I'm sure by now you noticed that there was a pattern. The thread on the bobbin, which started on the left-hand side, is now on the right-hand side. The same bobbin tied the knot with each time and was carried to the next knot. So we're now going to return from the right to the left side. So going from the right to the left side, we now go right over left, which is more difficult for my hands to do, I find. But it's right over left, go under the left, and put down the right. Pick up the next bobbin on the left. The right goes over the left and under, and tie it and put down the right. So continue all the way across. Right over left, under. So this time you're carrying the same thread, the same bobbin. If you are apt to get mixed up, tie a string around it, put a rubber band around it, but don't forget which one. Make it a longer thread is another way to identify it. But always carry the same thread until you get to the other side. When you're at the other side, you have half a square knot, so you just tie the other half. So if we're doing the right over the left, when we get to the very end, we do one more knot, which is left over right. So I'll see you at the other side. Continue doing right over the left, going towards the left. So I'm now approaching the left side. It's the right over the left and through. The right over the left and under and through, and the right goes down. The right over the left and through. The right goes down. And when we do the last one, it's the right over the left and through and down. Now, if you want, you can go back, hold on to that one you've tied, and pick up each one and pull it tight, just in case you think it isn't tight enough. I'm going to assume that these are all tight, that I check them. I need to do the last knot. I did the right over the left as I was going over to the left, so now I do a left over the right, which is the other half of the square knot, granny knot, whatever you'd like to call it. And because we are going to be sewing this end to the other end and twisting it up, all I have to do now is cut it fairly short. Take out your pins and cut it short. Thank you. Have fun.